everyone, so welcome to this video. This is going to be my official first bump date of pregnancy number 3. I am pregnant with baby number 3, and I just filmed a video with a life update, so you may have already seen that. I'm taking advantage of nap time and doing a couple of videos today. So I am pregnant, you guys. I am expecting baby number 3. I am due in March, and if everything goes well, I will be having a baby early spring of 2021. I can't even believe it. This is so crazy. I wanted to announce this and share it with you guys for a while. If you saw my last update, then you already know that I was pregnant, and that was part of my big life update. My life has changed completely. We've moved, another baby's on the way, and we are super excited. I am over the moon, honestly, because I just kind of like a quick little glimpse of my past. I have struggled with infertility, and I went to a fertility specialist after trying for several years, 2.5 years to be exact, when I was trying to get pregnant with my second baby, which is my daughter now. And they told me I had a 2% chance of getting pregnant naturally, so I would need to use medicine and science to come together and give me more children whenever I was ready to commit to doing IVF. And that was really going to be my best option. So for me to have gotten pregnant naturally with my daughter, when I did, that was a shock. But this time around, getting pregnant with baby number 3 was like, what? Are you kidding me right now? So complete shock, because I was not tracking my cycles. I wasn't even trying. I was still breastfeeding, still am a little bit here and there, still nursing my daughter, and I didn't think it was going to happen the way it did, but it did, and God has blessed me beyond measure, and I'm super excited to share this new journey with you guys. So this video is going to be just kind of like my symptoms and what kind of led up to finding out that I was pregnant, my appointments, and just kind of some information for those who are interested, for those who are trying to conceive. And I want to say that if you are trying to conceive, whether you've been trying for a month, 6 months, a year, couple years, just know that you're not alone. Just know that you're not the only one who is going through struggles, because I have struggled for years. It took me 5 years to get pregnant with my son, 2.5 years to get pregnant with my daughter, and not really trying for number 3. So anything can happen, and God does create miracles. So hang in there and just keep praying and putting it into God's hands, because that is what I did. I think, God is listening, and God is going to answer your prayers, and it just is a matter of time. So hang in there. You're not alone. So symptoms. Because I was breastfeeding, I didn't have any sort of pattern to my menstrual cycles. I started getting them last year in October. I actually had my daughter in 2019 last year. So again, another big shock as to getting pregnant when I did, as soon as I did, because I was not expecting it. So I was having a lot of just irregular cycles in the beginning. I think it was because I was exclusively breastfeeding at the time. So my cycles were kind of all over the place. One was like my first one, and then like 47 days I had another one, and then 50 days I had another one, and then 30, and then it was just all over the place until very recent that it was showing a little bit of a pattern, give or take a few days, but I wasn't really tracking it. I have an app, the Ovia app, which I use to, I use it when I was tracking my cycles, trying to get pregnant with my daughter, and I also have re-downloaded on my phone so I can track my periods and know, okay, I got one now, kind of have an idea to see if my body's going to start kind of balancing out, because when you are still postpartum, you're going through a lot of changes hormonally, and if you're also breastfeeding, that also has its own changes and challenges within your body. So trying to get pregnant wasn't even on my radar. I wasn't even thinking about it, but I was using the Ovia app to sort of track, and it's a great app. I'm not sponsored, by the way, so definitely check out the Ovia app. They have one for tracking your cycles and trying to get pregnant, and then they also have one once you become pregnant. It's a pregnancy, the Ovia pregnancy, that you can download, which I also have. So I was just kind of plugging in when I would start, just to kind of look back and know, because if I wasn't going to have any sort of normalcy coming back, then that would be to me, a red flag that I would need to bring up to my doctor. So it would kind of it gives you like a week that's in green, or it'll be a week in solid colors where you're estimated to be fertile, but it's not really accurate unless you have some sort of pattern and the app can sort of predict, okay, you're going to be fertile from the 14th through the 20th, for example, just to throw some numbers out there. And when I looked at my app, around the time that I suspected that I got pregnant, it said that I was in the green, but then again, like I said, I wasn't tracking, so I had no idea. And so my very first symptom that I had before a positive pregnancy test was extreme thirst. And I remember drinking so much water and feeling like nothing was quenching my thirst. And I'm like, what is going on? And I thought, okay, something has to be going on. And again, pregnancy was not the first thing. I mean, I did think of it eventually, but it wasn't my first symptom. My first kind of like, okay, what's going on? I kind of thought, okay, my body's trying to tell me something, because I am like, I'm needing water constantly and nothing is working. Like, no matter how much water, I just can't seem to quench this thirst. And I just kept chucking water and water and water. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I had that. And then I remember just dealing with some anxiety, and I did share that in a separate video a few months back, that I was having a lot of stress and anxiety. And, you know, I just started to feel like I was maybe going to have another panic attack or an anxiety attack. And I just started feeling like I was, I don't know, like just this weird sensation through my body, and very strange. And this was like several days before I found out about it. And I remember that it was a few days after we baby danced, because I marked that in my app. Something told me to mark it. Just, I don't know, I think God was talking to me this time around, because that's something that I've been working on, my relationship with God and my faith and reading the Bible and stuff like that. So I don't know, I just feel like he was talking to me, and I just felt like I got a sign or something. A few days after that, I felt like this sort of pinching sensation really down low in like where my uterus is, like a very like a little pinch, and it was just very quick, and it happened twice within a matter of a few minutes. And I think that could have been implantation. I don't know, because I never felt it with my second pregnancy or my first pregnancy, but I felt some pinching, and it was about 6 or 7 days after we baby danced. So I think that's what it was. I don't know. I have no idea if it was that or not, but that's what I felt. So I just had that, and then I just started kind of feeling just a little bit off and a little just kind of weird. And then, of course, when I look at my app, my Ovia app, and it says that I'm, you know, a few days late based off of what the app was predicting I was expecting a menstrual cycle, I started to think, okay, that's a little strange. Am I going to have a cycle that's now like 30 days? Because I was already a few days late. And so I just thought, you know, why don't I just take a pregnancy test? I told my husband, I said, why not? Because if I'm not going to get a period, or it's going to be a big change from the last few months in as far as cycle length, then I kind of need to know. Or if something else is going on within my body, I need to know that as well. So when I took a test, this was in July, early July, I was very, very shocked to see that within 2 minutes, I kid you not, within 2 minutes, the line was dark as heck. And it happened exactly the same with my daughter. I was a few days late, and that was, I think, if I remember correctly, that was my only symptom, or my only thing that kind of led me to think, okay, maybe I should take a test, was the fact that I was already, I think, 3 or 4 days late. Same thing this time around. I was a few days late based off of what I was predicting was my cycle length. And I just thought, you know, why not? You know, I just go and get the cheapo Target store brand pregnancy test and see what happens. It comes in a pack of 2, so if it's negative, I'll wait and see a couple days and take the second one. Nope. In 2 minutes, that line was dark. And I started crying. I started losing my mind. I was like, oh my God. I cannot believe that I'm pregnant again. So I told my husband, like, I need a digital. I need to see the word pregnant or not pregnant on there. And so he went and got me a digital. Sure enough, it says pregnant. And I was shocked. Okay, I don't even know where to begin. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Today, I decided that I was gonna take a pregnancy test because my cycle was late. I was tracking a 26-day cycle, and we are on day 31, and that's kind of strange and odd. So I ordered some tests with some stuff on Target. It actually came in one day, and I thought, you know what, that's the push that I needed to finally take the test. I didn't think that I would be. Had a few little things, but I just didn't think that I would be getting positive pregnancy tests. So I have already cried. I feel like I kind of had this intuition and this feeling that I kind of was, but then this little voice in the back of my head told me that I was ridiculous because I was still nursing. My daughter is not even 15 months yet. And, you know, I just started like thinking, and I entertained the idea, but then I thought, you know what, why don't I just wait and see instead of driving myself crazy? And I had this feeling, I think in my gut, that was telling me that I was, and I had prayed about it. I had been just putting it in God's hands, and I can't believe that He has blessed me yet again with another angel. And I'm just hoping and praying that this baby's just happy and healthy. That's all I could ask for, and we are so thrilled. Yeah, I'm super excited, and I'm pumped. Excuse this appearance. I like to sleep with my husband's t-shirts on, and I've got breakouts. That should have been my first clue because that's what I had with my daughter. Breakouts before I found out. But I wanted to film this because I wanted to capture my reaction right away. I literally took these tests less than 10 minutes ago, and I am blown away. Like, I cannot wrap my mind around this. I can't even, all I can say is God is good. God is good. After that, I felt pretty normal from finding out. I think up until I was 4 weeks and a few days when I found out I was pregnant, because my period was already late by a couple days. And then around week 5, that's when I started the morning sickness. So with my pregnancy with my daughter, my morning sickness started week 6. Like, I had nausea in week 5, but week 6, I started to feel sick, and it just progressively got worse, where every day I was sick all day long. And sure enough, this time around is the exact same thing. Not only feeling nauseous, but that morning sickness from when I wake up to when I go to bed, it's just awful. It is really bad, but I am also very grateful for this opportunity, for the fact that I'm able to carry another child, for the fact that God has blessed me. So I'm not complaining here, but I will say that it sucks. It does. And it takes so much out of you when you're pregnant and you're trying to nurture a baby on the inside, and try to kind of picture nurturing a baby on the inside and also trying to nurture one on the outside. And it just started physically draining me, and I just started getting really tired and exhausted, being pregnant and also nursing at the same time. And I just started to feel really, really sick. And the sickness started very early. Week 5, I started feeling sick all the time. And I have thrown up several meals. There was a few days where I couldn't even keep anything down. I was so sick with the nausea, just feeling uncomfortable, feeling like I'm gonna throw up at any second. I was like that for so long that I really contemplated getting medication prescribed by my OBGYN for morning sickness. And that is a last resort, because ginger ale doesn't work. The ginger candies, that don't work either. And food has been something that I enjoy. I love to eat. I love going out to eat. I love ordering food. I love to cook. I love to bake. And for me to not be able to stay on the side of food, it sucked. And I lost some weight. My first OB appointment that I had, I weighed 107 pounds. And that's the lowest that I've weighed in a very, very long time. I was barely eating. I would eat like bird seeds, like crumbs. You know, like I could not stand the sight of any food. It doesn't matter if it was dessert, breakfast item, lunch, dinner. I couldn't look at anything. Raw meats, forget about it. My husband had to prep the dinner meats and stuff like that because I could not stand the sight of it. I had to force myself to eat. It has been a struggle, and it hasn't been until very recent, as I'm in the tail end of the first trimester and kind of starting the second, that I'm able to go longer stretches in between meals. And I do still get nauseous, and I do still feel like I'm going to throw up at any second, but it's not as bad. I feel like if I eat and if I'm drinking something, it's fine. And I've sort of figured out, you know, I'm just going to have to force myself to eat because I need to nourish my body and I need to provide for this new baby, and I have to do it. So it's difficult. So I did broth, I did rice, I have done the crackers, I've done the ginger ale, the sparkling sodas, which I'm drinking now because regular water still grosses me out. I still drink it, but it's not my favorite. So I drink a lot of sparkling water. So eventually I'm going to switch to more of just regular water. But yeah, I was having a lot of food aversions. I was throwing up. Not every meal, but I had my moments where I was throwing up. I was dry heaving in the mornings after brushing my teeth. Same thing with my daughter. Every time I brush my teeth in the morning or at night, I start dry heaving, and I'm like, at night it's worse because I have food in my body, and I'm like, please don't throw it up. Please don't throw it up. And I'm just like pacing back and forth. Please don't throw it up. And in the mornings, I don't have anything in my stomach, so, you know, nothing comes up. But it's happening. It's a symptom. It's there. But I think just the morning sickness has been pretty bad. As far as feeling tired, I do feel tired, but when I was going through the most of the morning sickness, I was also packing my old house, or my husband was helping me pack the old house and trying to move. And moving while you're sick is a struggle. I was on the struggle bus. I was driving the struggle bus. And it was just, it's just hard when you don't feel so great and you feel sick and nauseous, like you're going to throw up, but you also have to pack and move and then get settled, and you have other kids to take care of. It's different this time around than it was with my first pregnancy and obviously with my second. So those have been kind of like my main things. I would go to the store here and there and I would feel like a craving or something, so I'd just grab it, and whatever it is, whether it's savory or sweet, at this point it's whatever I could keep down and I'm fine with it. But I now, you know, eat my meals and stuff like that, and I try to do things that appeal to me, and it's getting better. Each day is getting better as we are, you know, getting into the second trimester. So those are pretty much most of my symptoms. I don't think I left anything out. I thought I had my notes on here, but apparently iPhone decided to take my notes away. I can't find them. So I think that's pretty much it. If I have anything that I left out, I'll put it in the description box of additional symptoms. So I've had a couple OB appointments. When I was pregnant with my daughter, when I was 8 weeks and a few days, I was just shy of 9 weeks. I was like 8 weeks and 5 days, 8 weeks and 6 days. I had a lot of bleeding, and I ended up going to the emergency room. And ironically, I had the same thing happen this time around, where I had a lot of bleeding, but this time it happened around week 7. So almost 2 weeks earlier this time around than it did with my daughter. And that's another reason why I think I'm pregnant with a girl, because this didn't happen when I was pregnant with my son. But I was on the phone looking at some carpet cleaners for the new house and just wanting a new carpet cleaning machine or an upgrade. And I'm on my phone, and then I feel this gush. And when I look down, it's all through my pants, a lot of blood. So I'm like, okay, what is going on? And of course, you know, you get worried when you know you're pregnant and you're that early. I was 7 weeks. I'm like, oh man. So I really thought that I was, you know, could possibly be going through a miscarriage, and it scared me. I didn't go to the emergency room, and here's why. Because when I did with my daughter, they just told me to go home and kind of wait to see what my body was going to do. There's nothing medically they could do to intervene if I was miscarrying. There's no medicine that they can give me to stop it. It's just what my body's going to do. And so they sent me home after 7 hours of waiting to see a doctor, which was just a waste of time because I could have just done that at home. So this time around, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to panic. I'm breathing in. I'm trying to like talk myself down from freaking out. You know, my husband was running errands, and I was like, you need to come home. And so I showered, got some clean clothes. I had some pads, so I put those on to monitor how much bleeding I had. it was a lot, you guys, and it was pretty scary. And that was a really big health scare for me because I knew I was pregnant, and I knew physically I hadn't done anything to cause the bleeding, and that kind of put a halt in the packing and moving for a few days. And my husband, he did 97% of the packing of the old house. This move could not have happened without him because I couldn't do anything. I was scared to lift anything. I was, just, cautious when lifting my daughter, who, was 15 months at the time, and she's pretty heavy. So I just didn't want to overdo it, and I took a break. I just kind of like mellowed out, and I just wasn't really trying to do as much around the house or packing because I was scared, and I just kind of waited out. So this happened over the weekend. So on Monday, I called my OB clinic, and they were able to get me into an appointment the following day, so Tuesday morning. And they really don't know where the blood was coming from. So this massive amount of blood was just pulled up somewhere in my body, and it just decided, oh, it's going to come out. And it scared the crap out of me, you guys. And when I went to that appointment to make sure, or to, hopefully find a heartbeat, they did. And the heartbeat was about 149, 150. So the doctor said with his 30 years experience, everything that he saw was normal. He's like, I don't really know where this bleeding is because there's no active bleeding anymore. At that point, I was still bleeding, but he couldn't see on the ultrasound exactly where, I guess. So I just kind of had to wait it out and see. So I was bleeding and spotting for about 2 weeks. And thankfully that's behind me now. And I went to an appointment recently before filming this video. And the heart rate is in the 160, or 160 beats per minute. So that's really great. They didn't do an ultrasound, but I am being monitored closely because of having the bleeding and the threatened miscarriage this time around. I was monitored like a hawk when this happened with my daughter. And they had me come in every 2 weeks for ultrasounds. Then this time around, they're not doing that. And I think it's because of the COVID thing. They don't really, when you're pregnant, you're more vulnerable. You're in that category of being vulnerable to COVID because of a suppressed immune system. So I try to be safe and cautious and not leave my house unless I have to, and obviously wearing my mask and, keeping my distance for the safety of myself, this baby, my family, my other 2 kids. So yeah, that's behind me, and thankfully everything looks good and we're headed in the right direction. So I figured I was just going to share this journey with you guys in this new chapter, and just kind of share with you guys how it goes from here on out. And I, certainly can hope and pray for just a happy, healthy baby, and hopefully I get to see a delivery in March. So everything seems great. My belly is getting bigger, so I will insert some clips of a belly shot soon. I've been kind of quiet on social media for a while, and obviously not on YouTube because of, the pregnancy and the move, but then also being scared, not knowing what my body's going to do. Is this pregnancy going to continue in a positive way? And I've put it into God's hands, and so far everything seems to be going really great, just like I did with my daughter. I had the scare, the same exact thing, but everything progressed really well, and I gave birth to a healthy, beautiful baby. So I am optimistic and positive that I'm going to have that this 3rd time around. And I think that's pretty much it for my symptoms. And all the things that have been happening. I mean, it's been a crazy first trimester, I tell you that. But I'm super excited to get my energy back and to be in the 2nd trimester. I feel like it's going to blink and go by. I do want to do more updates, pregnancy updates, so those will be kind of sprinkled in with other videos. And I don't know how often I'll do them, if I'll do them every few weeks, every 2 weeks, maybe every month. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So if you are expecting, I hope that everything is going well for you. If you're trying, hang in there. Just keep that faith and that positive mentality, because miracles do happen, and I am sitting here as proof that things do happen. Miracles do happen. God is listening, and God is watching, and He's in control here. So I feel relaxed. I feel like I'm okay. As we progress with each week that goes by, I know that God has His hand over this baby, and He has from the beginning. So it's going to be all right. So yeah, I think that's it, you guys. I still find this so bizarre that I'm filming this video and sharing this with you guys, but I will be doing more bump updates and kind of sharing the journey, and obviously doing some screenshots or some like belly clips and stuff like that of my belly as it grows. I'm interested to see the changes with this belly compared to when I was pregnant with my daughter, because I do believe I'm having a girl. All of my symptoms and everything is like deja vu. I'm like reliving exactly like my pregnancy with my daughter. You know, the timeline, you know, a couple things happening earlier, but same things, same events, just happening at different points of the pregnancy thus far. So I'm kind of curious. So let me know what you think. Is it a girl? Is it a boy? What do you think I'm having? Because I truly believe it's a girl. I don't know, I have this feeling based off my symptoms, based off of everything I've experienced from finding out up until now has been the same, the exact same. I feel like I'm pregnant with another Everly. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful for those of you who are interested in this, for those of you who are just tuning in because you are wanting to be part of the journey. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I hope you're staying happy and safe. Take care, you guys, and I'll catch you in my next bump update.